Hello, welcome back, friend. It has been several months, a long time, since I have picked up a camera and filmed, and that is because, drumroll please, I had a baby. So, yeah, I gave birth to our son in January, and it is now March. So it's crazy to think that I have a 2-month-old. Just about. It's Thursday today, he'll be 2 months this Saturday, which is absolutely crazy to think that he's going to be that old. It's absolutely wild, but I wouldn't have it any other way. We are so blessed to have a happy, healthy baby boy. So the reason I haven't picked up a camera though is obviously because A, I had a baby, but then B, we were adjusting to life with a newborn and, the sleepless nights and just trying to get into a routine with Beckham. And I feel like we're at a place now though where we've gotten into a routine and we're feeling good and staying on that routine. So I feel like we're at a place where I can confidently balance filming and taking care of a newborn. So I'm really excited to pick a camera back up and start to film, because I know I was starting to get into the groove of things. After our cross-country move in September, I was starting to get into the groove of things, of really enjoying filming and editing. But in my third trimester, especially near the end, I was super exhausted and it didn't feel right to pick up a camera. I wanted to be present and in the moment with the pregnancy. All right, take two. That's just how things are gonna be nowadays. So as I was saying though, what was I saying? Oh yeah, in my third trimester especially, I just wanted to be present in the pregnancy, and I had a lot of Braxton Hicks and it didn't make sense. I didn't feel good enough to pick up a camera. I had plans to film the whole birth story, but I didn't end up doing that because it was such a hectic thing. We'll introduce you. He does not have, this is Beckham. He doesn't have control of his neck moving forward. He has great neck strength picking his head up, but he has a floppy neck still, and can't control it moving forward. But he's currently fighting sleep, so some cuddling with mama will hopefully cure that. I'll just run through my birth story really quickly. So I gave birth to him on January 22nd, and on the 21st, I woke up at about 3 in the morning, and I started having what I thought were really intense contractions. Obviously, I've never been through that before, but I thought they were really intense contractions, so I started timing them, and then at about 5:30, I turned to Kevin, I woke him up, and I said, I think it's time to go to the hospital. So we went to the hospital on the 21st at about 6 in the morning, and we were there for a little bit. And the long story short there is we weren't dilated enough, so I was at about a 3, and they said to admit us, I would need to be at least a 4 or a 5. And so we did a couple different things to try to move us along, dilate a little bit faster. Nothing worked, so they ended up sending us home. And then fast forward, I went through the whole day having, when I look back at it, having mild contractions. I thought they were really strong, but little did I know they would pick up quite a bit. So the whole day I was having contractions, didn't really feel good. Flash forward to the night of the 21st, so still Tuesday the 21st, at about 9 p.m. I started having even more intense contractions, and they were starting to take my breath away. I couldn't talk. However, moving around and walking and stuff like that helped ease it a little bit. And looking back now, we could have just stayed home, and we still were going through early labor at that point, but I had no idea. So I told Kevin, I said, we need to go back. And mind you, my water had not broken at any point. Honestly, it never broke. They had to break it, but they had told us the first time they sent us home that, you come back if the contractions start to get stronger and your water breaks. And so my water hadn't broken, but the contractions were starting to get stronger. So I waited it out a little bit, and then I told Kevin, I said, we need to go back. So we went back at about 9 p.m. and we were there up until about midnight. I had progressed a little bit, but not enough for them to admit us. They could have admitted us, but they didn't. They ended up sending us home, which was a little bit frustrating and discouraging, if I'm being honest. So I got sent home, and thankfully we live rather close to the hospital we were giving birth at. So although it was discouraging, they sent us home a second time, and like I said, it was around midnight when we got discharged. So she said, go home, get some rest. You'll feel a lot better laboring at home. And I honestly would have preferred to just have been admitted at that point, because when we got home, I tried to lay down. I tried to get comfortable, and I just couldn't. So I was miserable for hours, honestly. So then come 3 o'clock on Wednesday morning, I now was at a point where, I wasn't able to get comfortable this whole time, but now I really couldn't get comfortable. I had the adrenaline shakes like no other. I could not control my body shakes at all. When the contractions hit, it was the most intense pain I've felt in my life. And up until having contractions, the worst pain that I've ever felt in my life was with kidney stones. And that was very intense pain, but contractions definitely trump that. So anyway, so at about 3 in the morning on Wednesday, I really was in a lot of pain, and my contractions were even closer together, and they were taking my breath away. I couldn't focus on anything other than the pain and the contraction itself. Nothing I did would take the pain away. The contractions I was having prior to that, I could walk around, I could talk through some of them. But this was a whole different ball game. They were very, very intense. And, so I felt bad for Kevin, because he couldn't we're running on no sleep. And I needed him more than ever in that moment, because it was so intense. So anyway, I, tried to take a bath. I tried to take a shower. Kevin and I tried to walk around the backyard. and nothing was helping. It was extremely intense. And I told him, I said, I know my water hasn't broken, but it's too much. Like we need to go. We need to go back. So we packed up the car again and went to the hospital. And at this point, it's about 5 a.m. on the 22nd. And when we got to the hospital, the other 2 times we had gone to the hospital, I could fill out my paperwork and talk to the, lady at the desk. And this time I don't really remember, other than what, Kevin has said. I was just so focused on my contractions. He handled everything at that point. So then they immediately came down and got us, and they skipped putting us in a triage room. Instead, they put us straight into a delivery room, and it wasn't a question of whether we were being admitted or not. And then when they checked me at that point, I was at a 5. So I had been obviously laboring at home for a really long time, and now we were clearly in active labor. So we were being admitted, and we were gonna have a baby. So I really couldn't think of anything more that I wanted other than some relief from the pain. So I was asking the nurses, when can I get an epidural? And they had already called for the anesthesiologist. She was on her way. So as soon as I pretty much got into my hospital gown and they were done checking my vitals and checking me for how far dilated and effaced I was, the anesthesiologist showed up and put an epidural in. And when I tell you it was like night and day, the relief that I felt, I was such a happy camper. It's absolutely crazy how fast the pain dissipated. So from there, I got the epidural, I think it was about 7 or 7:30 in the morning. So from there, we were monitoring my contractions and baby's movement. Everything was looking pretty good. We started doing some exercises and things to promote dilation. The next time that they checked us in the afternoon, I was 10 centimeters dilated, fully effaced, and we were able to start pushing. So they called our doctor, and she was making her way over from the clinic. We were doing practice pushes and everything. Everything was going pretty good. And then I legit pushed for about 2 hours with the doctor, and then Beckham made his way into the world at 5:56 p.m. on January 22nd. And it was so much better once I got the epidural. I was in such a better mindset and headspace, and I was just ready to meet our little guy after carrying him for so long. And I will never ever forget the moment that they put him on my chest. It made the 39 hours of laboring so worth it. All the pain and fear went out the window. And I will never forget that moment. And I'm just thankful that, we were able to have a healthy and safe delivery. Both myself and Beckham, everything went as it should have. I had some tears that needed to be repaired, and I had a slight fever that needed to be treated after he came out. But other than that, everything went as it should, and I am just so thankful that we both came out the other side of it healthy and happy. So now, present day, like I said, it'll be 2 months this Saturday, and it's just crazy to think that time has gone that fast and that he's growing so fast, but every day I look at him and he's really starting to grow up. He's starting to look like, I feel, a toddler. Like he's definitely growing very fast. But so that's just a short story of how Beckham came into the world. We're very, very proud and happy that he's here. I'm proud of him every day for everything that he's doing and becoming. His personality is definitely starting to show, which I am so enamored by. Like, he's just a little human. He's our little son. But anyway, so that was just a brief overview of my birth story. Like I said, I didn't get any footage because it was just so intense and my thoughts were not, let me pick up a camera and film this. Even though I wanted to, that's just not where my head was. I had a lot more to focus on in that moment. Getting through the contractions, I would not have been able to film, and nor did I want Kevin to film it either. I wanted to be the person to do that. So unfortunately I didn't get that, but it all worked out how it was supposed to.